eventually I know I'm doomed.
I think it's up to you. That really is my opinion about what art is. You can't convince somebody. I can't sit here and tell you that this lamp is art or that this water bottle is art. But I can decide that. But, you know, I think it is a incredibly personal relationship between a human being and their environment of the what is art question.
Doomed to get what I am asking for. Now my heart...
Well, I think by definition when two human being artists get together to collaborate, it is impossible to have the same vision because they're two individuals. And so what I have found is usually best is you find someone who has the same general values, you know, same general, I mean, not even about art, but just about, you know, it's funny, I just did this video with Tim Pope, and the two of us were talking about this, and we talked about the importance of actually enjoying the work and having a positive, you know, happy, excited environment. Actually, and I think as you get older, that does become more important to you, because why the fuck would you waste your time making or doing anything if you're not enjoying it? And so what I've found is I try to collaborate with the artists who live in the same vague aesthetic realm as I do. And have the correct working attitude, which is a positive one and not a negative one. And then random things have to happen and are bound to happen, because you'll never have two people with a singular vision as long as you have two people.
My heart is exactly the size of a six-sided die cut in half.
I think nakedness is, again, a very individual and personal thing and cultural thing. And I like using nudity as a way of, you know, simultaneously grabbing attention, but also my favorite kind of nudity is often, you know, desexualized nudity. And really, I like complicated nudity, you know, because the other kind of nudity where it's just, you know, here are my tits, think that I'm sexy, that's just too easy. So it's a fun, nudity is a fun game to play, I've found.
Made of ruby red stained glass, can I knock you unconscious as long as...
Pretty much what Ray Bradbury said. Although, as I become a better artist, or at least a more experienced artist, I get better at building as I'm going. And I also learn to get out of my own way. One of the hardest things about songwriting and making art is that, you know, you have some kind of general idea and you sort of vaguely know where you're aiming. But in order to get the best results and the best piece of art, you have to think not too much, but not too little. And you have to sort of put your brain to work in this kind of twilight zone area where you're not over-intellectualizing what you're doing, but you clearly have to be moving forward and thinking about whether this is going to all hang together. So you kind of have to, you know, you kind of walk this tightrope of falling off the cliff and building and timing your landing so that everything doesn't fucking fall apart.
As long as I promise I'll love you and I'll make you laugh. Now my heart is...
Well, it's both. You know, you've got artists who want to make work and share it and need to eat. And then you've got people who want the art to enjoy, to bring pleasure, meaning, emotion, whatever. And how those two entities have found each other and connected has always changed throughout time. And there's been all different forms of patronage and support and commerce. I think it is a ever-changing, never stable relationship. But as long as artists want to make art and audiences and fans or whatever want to consume it, they'll find a way to make it work. Because the minute artists aren't supported and cannot eat and cease to make art, these people will be very unhappy. So I have faith in humanity that we'll figure it out. We are figuring it out. I mean, the Kickstarter is a really inspiring way of, you know, I mean, the music business is really fucked, and everyone knows that it's been nosediving. And I mean, when I say the music business, it's kind of, that doesn't even really make any sense anymore, because what is the music business? You know, these people, the managers, the musicians, the people, if the musicians are now running their own business, are they the music business? But one piece of conventional wisdom that the mainstream music business has been getting wrong for years is that people, if given the choice, would prefer not to support an artist and just take everything for free. And it's total bullshit. People love supporting artists that they love. They just do. They always have. You just have to make it easy for them. And you have to not antagonize them and punish them, as the music business has been doing. And when you look at this Kickstarter, it is just a very simple, wowed answer to that question, which is, if given the choice, would people support an artist? And the answer is yes. If they believe in the artist and they trust the artist and they love the artist, they will.
That is exactly the size of a six-sided die, cut in half, made of fruit.
Well, I mean, if you go way back, the traditional, I mean, there is no traditional, but, you know, there was an old school relationship between musicians and storytellers and, you know, the artists of a smaller community. And it was just sort of taken for granted that they were part of the fabric of the community and they would be supported in whatever way, shape, or form. And, you know, with the rise of, like, the mega rock star and the recorded music industry in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and, you know, music getting further and farther away from just being a part of the community, and now this giant separation, that's actually the weird bit. I think me being very connected to the people that I'm making music with and for isn't very odd. It's why I wanted to do this in the first place, was for that connection. So I'm just taking what I want. And, you know, and the fans who are staying connected and are connected, and the people that I'm working with and collaborating with, staying that connected, that's just that's just kind of a given. Of course we all want to talk to each other. That's why we do this. And then the fallout and the pleasant side effect is that since we're all communicating all the time, it's much easier to support each other financially and promotionally and all that jazz.
Ruby red stained glass, can I knock you unconscious as long as
You're assuming that I do.
Everyone.
Bring in
can be an
Bieber.
artist.
We have Justin Bieber outside. We're gonna
But you
put
can
him on the
very
couch
likely make
and
jokes
discuss
about
this with him.
Rebecca Black and not be offended by the fact that.
But she's awesome.
There
I
you go.
actually think
How do
her.
you manage to do you really think this?
I know, I really do. I think
Is your love for mankind limitless?
yes.
Why?
Actually, it is. Why? I don't know why. Because it doesn't feel good to hate Rebecca Black. It really doesn't. I would rather appreciate the extreme pleasure her video gave me than tear her down. And I pretty much feel that with any artist out there. You know, I enjoyed Rebecca Black's art more than the vast majority of, you know, check out my brother's cousin's band on YouTube, here's a link, shit that I was sent all year. And if I enjoyed it for whatever reason, then why not throw her the ground? I mean, I feel terrible for the girl. She's just like, she's fucked. But, you know, the system is fucked. And she's clearly a product of a very fucked up system. But she's also just, you know, you look at her and she's an earnest 15-year-old girl who desperately wants to, you know, sing and be a star, and she wants what everyone wanted when we were, well, I mean the collective we inside my head, when we were 15. You know, she just unfortunately got it. But I found myself really thinking, Rebecca Black gave me a lot of food for thought, and I found myself thinking, oh my God, like, if my fantasy had come true when I was 13, and I did have it, and it was an earnest, bold, real fucking fantasy, that God damn it, I deserved it, and one of these days there were going to be some guys in a limo knocking on my door being, Amanda, we're so sorry it's taken so long, we understand that you're very talented, your music video set is waiting down the street, let's go, we have the lights set up. I would be like, great, we're going! And my video probably would have looked very similar to Rebecca Black's. But no one knocked. Instead, I had to incubate as an artist and didn't get to make a music video until I was 26. And it wasn't that bad. But, you know, I saw so much of myself in her. How could I possibly hate her? Or, you know, not even hate. How could I not love her? It's just a little version of me.